Do you remember when Christmas dinner meant more than just turkey and ham? When Grandma's peculiar jellied salad glistened on the table, and that mysterious frozen fruitcake actually tasted like tradition? Today, we're bringing back 25 lost American Christmas dishes that deserve another chance at your holiday table.
You remember that translucent ruby red shimmer under the dining room chandelier? Mom would start at Christmas Eve night, heating that tomato juice until the whole kitchen smelled like Campbell's Soup Factory. She'd arrange celery pieces in the bottom of her heavy aluminum mold, then carefully pour. You'd hear it glug 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 as the hot mixture filled every ridge. Cost just 45 cents for a full ring back in 1955, about $5.20 today. Next morning, that perfect ruby dome sat waiting in the refrigerator. Grandmothers competed over the clearest gelatin, the crispest vegetables suspended inside like jewels. The unmolding ritual was its own ceremony, everyone watching as she flipped it onto that milk glass plate. Today's store-bought gelatin cups can't match that centerpiece status it commanded on every holiday table. That elegant molded salad has vanished completely. Your aunt would set up her assembly line Christmas morning. White bread, wheat bread, cream cheese softening in that Pyrex bowl. She'd spread each slice to the very edge, no gaps allowed. Stack them 4 high, alternating colors. Wrap tight in wax paper. Refrigerate 2 hours. Then slice him into perfect little checkerboards with her sharpest knife. Cost about $1.20 per platter back in 1962, roughly $12 today. Church ladies competed over presentation, arranging them on cut glass platters with paper doilies underneath. Those pastel cream cheese fillings, pale pink pimento, mint green olive, butter yellow egg salad. Young girls learned the technique as a rite of passage, mastering those perfectly squared edges with crusts trimmed clean. Today's grab-and-go finger foods can't match that delicate, dissolving texture or the care behind every bite. Those refined tea sandwiches disappeared with a whole era of hospitality.
Dad would take that coconut outside Christmas Eve. You'd hear him hammering in the garage, that crack, 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 echoing through the cold air. He'd bring in those rough brown chunks, and Mom would spend an hour grating it on her metal box grater. Your job was sectioning oranges over a bowl to catch every precious drop of juice. The whole kitchen smelled like a Florida grove. Cost about $2.80 for a full bowl back in 1965, roughly $27 today. Kids fought over who got to add the marshmallows to Grandmother's crystal bowl. That fresh grated coconut had a chewy texture and sweetness that pre-shredded bags could never touch. Real whipped cream, not Cool Whip. Mandarin orange segments bursting on your tongue. Today's store-bought versions with their artificial shortcuts can't match that labor of love or the way families work together to create it. That authentic homemade ambrosia has vanished completely. Christmas Eve at 6 o'clock sharp. You remember that briny ocean smell when Dad opened the pint container from the fish market. Mom would heat milk in her big enamel pot, never boiling, just steaming. She'd slip those fresh oysters into the hot milk, and they'd plump up in about 3 minutes, floating like little gray pearls. You'd eat it with those hexagonal oyster crackers, the tin sitting right on the table. Cost about $3.50 per quart back in 1958, about $37 today. 12 million American families served this before midnight mass in 1940, that light, sacred supper tradition before church. Arguments over whether premium or Westminster crackers were better. The butter pooling golden on the surface, that smooth, creamy texture with occasional chewy oyster. Today's canned soups can't match the ritual of Dad picking up fresh oysters that morning or the way it made Christmas Eve feel complete. That cherished pre-mass tradition has vanished completely.
Grandma would start baking this December 23rd, the whole house filled with almond extract and toasted pecans. You'd hear her heavy sunbeam mixmaster running for 20 minutes straight, beating those egg whites to stiff peaks. 3 cake pans cooling on wire racks. Then she'd spread that fig and nut filling between each layer with her offset spatula, turning the cake stand slowly. Took 12 eggs and nearly 5 hours to make properly. Cost $8.50 from a bakery back in 1955, about $98 today. That snow-white frosting had a texture like silk, the centerpiece of every Christmas dessert table, towering 3 layers high on a glass pedestal. Serious bakers shared the recipe only with trusted family members. It was a badge of honor to master it. Today's box cake mixes made fancy layer cakes seem unnecessary, robbing us of that pride and patience. That magnificent handcrafted masterpiece has vanished completely. Day after Christmas, Mom would put that picked-over carcass in her biggest pot, celery, onion, bay leaf. It would simmer all morning, the whole house steamy and fragrant with chicken stock. She'd strain it through cheesecloth into her rectangular Pyrex dish, layering in the picked meat. By the next day, you'd slice it cold for sandwiches, that shimmering aspic holding perfect slices. In 1955, 64% of households made some version of this post-holiday thrift dish. The Depression generation taught us to use everything, waste nothing. That firm jelly texture, the concentrated chicken flavor, served on lettuce leaves with a dollop of mayonnaise. It took minimum 6 hours, but cost practically nothing, just using what would have been thrown away. Today's prepackaged deli meat can't match that pride and economy, or the way it stretched Christmas into Boxing Day. That practical use every scrap tradition has vanished completely. Grandma would start her mincemeat right after Thanksgiving. Ground beef, suet, apples, raisins, everything chopped by hand in her big yellow Pyrex bowl. The mixture would go into a stone crock in the basement. Every few days, she'd stir in more brandy. By Christmas, it smelled like a spice factory exploded. Cinnamon, cloves, nutmeg, allspice. That dark, almost black filling. Cost about $4.20 to make back in 1962. Roughly $42 today. Required 6 to 8 weeks of aging. In 1950, 41% of American homes made mincemeat from scratch with actual meat. Men especially loved this pie, that complex spice blend, the chewy texture, slightly boozy from all that brandy. Multi-generational recipes passed down with fierce precision. Today's store-bought versions with their meatless filling can't match that medieval tradition or the patience required to age it properly in the cellar. That authentic, meat-filled mincemeat has disappeared entirely. Your job was feeding cranberries into Grandma's meat grinder Christmas morning, that heavy cast iron clamped to the kitchen table. You'd turn that handle and those raw cranberries would pop and crack as the blade caught them. Orange chunks next. The smell would make your mouth water. Then Grandma would stir in sugar with her big metal spoon, scraping the bowl sides. That bright crimson-colored, jewel-like. Cost about 85 cents back in 1965, roughly $8 today. In 1960, 72% of families made fresh cranberry relish this way. Ocean Spray sold 34 million pounds of fresh cranberries annually just for this dish. It was your first real cooking responsibility, the pride of making your contribution to Christmas dinner. Today's canned cranberry sauce with its ridged can shape can't match that tart sweet explosion or the crunchy texture from hand grinding. That hand-cranked Christmas morning ritual has disappeared completely. Aunt Helen would make this after Christmas dinner, sherry and cream poured into her cut glass punch bowl. Then she'd use that rotary egg beater, that distinctive whirring sound for 15 minutes straight. Her arm would get tired. She'd pass it to Mom. Keep beating until you couldn't see liquid anymore, just thick foam. Ladle it into those special fluted glasses from the china cabinet. Sprinkle nutmeg on top. Featured in 89% of Southern church Christmas cookbooks back in 1950. This was the Southern hostess's signature move, served only to adults, while kids watched, fascinated. That sweet wine flavor with cream richness, light and airy like alcoholic mousse, ice cold in crystal. Recipe required exact wine type, usually Harvey's Bristol cream. Required 20 to 30 minutes of continuous hand beating. Today's quick desserts can't match that arm-aching labor or the refinement it represented at the holiday table. That frothy wine dessert has vanished completely. Christmas Eve night, Mom would stand at the stove stirring this for 45 minutes, that double boiler setup with the bottom pot bubbling softly. She'd stir in a figure-8 pattern with her wooden spoon, never stopping. You'd know it was ready when it coated the spoon and stayed. By Christmas morning, the refrigerator held 4 quart bottles of this golden custard, pale yellow like liquid sunshine. Cost about $1.10 per quart back in 1960, roughly $11 today. In 1955, 67% of Southern households served this Christmas morning with homemade cinnamon rolls. Kids got their own small juice glass just like the adults. That thick, silky texture on your tongue, sweet vanilla custardy flavor served ice cold. Daughters learned the constant stirring technique from their mothers, couldn't rush it. Today's store-bought eggnog can't match that labor of love or the way it made Christmas morning feel sacred. That patient Christmas Eve tradition has disappeared completely. Grandma would bake these right after Thanksgiving. The kitchen smelled like a German bakery with pepper, anise, cardamom, cloves. She'd roll the dough into long snakes on her floured board, then cut them into little balls with a knife. They'd bake hard as stones. Into the big tin they'd go with apple slices laid between layers of wax paper. Every Sunday you'd test them. Are they ready yet? Cost about $1.80 per batch back in 1958, roughly $18 today. In 1950, 78% of German-American families made them this way. Required minimum 4 weeks of storage, sometimes 6. Cookie tin monitoring was an important ritual. By Christmas, they'd be perfect. Still firm but chewy, that white powdered sugar coating. Recipe measured in grams, not cups. Today's soft bakery versions can't match that anticipation or the connection to immigrant roots. Those authentic, hard spice cookies that required weeks of patience have vanished completely. This started at 6 a.m. Christmas morning. Dad would set up the steamer pot on the back burner. That pudding sat in its cloth bag inside the steamer basket. Steam would fill the kitchen all morning, fogging every window. You couldn't lift the lid even once. The whole house smelled like Christmas itself. Dense, dark, sweet spices. By noon, Dad would unwrap it carefully, that cloth steaming hot, and flip it onto the platter. Cost about $5.60 back in 1950, roughly $71 today. In 1940, 34% of Northeastern families served this British tradition. Required real beef suet from the butcher. Crisco substitutes were deemed inferior by those who knew. That flaming brandy presentation thrilled us kids every time. That rich, heavy texture, almost black in color, served with hard sauce melting on top. Today's quick desserts can't match that all-morning commitment or the way it coordinated with church and dinner timing. That patient steaming ritual has disappeared completely.
Mom would pull out her big glass bowl Christmas Eve afternoon. You could see every layer through the sides. First came shredded iceberg lettuce, bright green. Then frozen peas, still icy, chopped celery, sliced water chestnuts with that distinctive crunch, shredded cheddar in an orange layer. Then she'd seal it with mayonnaise, spreading it to the very edges like frosting a cake. Bacon bits and more cheese on top cost about $3.40 back in 1968, roughly $30 today. Featured in 94% of community church cookbooks in 1972, Hellman sold 18 million extra jars that December alone. The Tupperware trifle bowl was specifically designed for this, served from the bowl, no transferring needed. That revolutionary convenience. Debates raged over exact layer order at every potluck. Today's deconstructed salads can't match that make-ahead magic or the way those flavors married overnight in the refrigerator. That labor-intensive layered masterpiece has disappeared completely. The kitchen was off limits during popcorn ball making. Mom would pop corn in that heavy pot on the stove, kernels banging against the lid like tiny drums. Then came the molasses syrup. She'd watch that candy thermometer like a hawk, waiting for exactly 250 degrees. When it hit, she'd pour it over the popcorn in her biggest bowl. You'd butter your hands and shape balls fast before it hardened. Cost about 55 cents per batch back in 1955, roughly $6.40 today. In 1950, 71% of households made these. Taylor candy thermometers sold over 2 million units that December alone. Half went on the tree as decorations, half for eating. Your fingers would get burned, happened every year, but you kept going. That golden brown color, sticky sweet coating, wrapped in wax paper squares. Today's pre-made caramel corn can't match that race against time or the pride of shaping 40 balls before the mixture turned rock hard. Those homemade molasses popcorn balls have disappeared completely. Mom would set up her cookie press assembly line every December 20th. That heavy metal Miro press with all the discs spread out on the counter. She'd load the dough into the tube, then squeeze out perfect trees, wreaths, stars onto the cookie sheets. The dough came out in ribbons through the disc. You'd help place a red candy cherry or green sugar on each one before they went in. The oven ran all afternoon. It cost about 90 cents per batch back in 1960, roughly $9 today. In 1975, Miro sold 890,000 cookie presses annually. Most came as wedding gifts and lasted decades. Average household made 300 to 400 cookies. Required real arm strength to press that dough through. Your mom's forearms would ache by evening. That buttery, rich flavor with slight almond extract note. Specific disc shapes became memory markers. Remember the year we only used stars? Today's slice and bake convenience can't match that assembly line tradition or the satisfaction of perfectly uniform shapes. That cookie press ritual, requiring patience and muscle, has disappeared completely. Mom would make this Christmas Eve morning. Cream cheese softening on the counter for an hour first, that brick of Philadelphia unwrapped and waiting. She'd mix in shredded cheddar, Worcestershire sauce, chopped onions with her electric mixer until fluffy, then shape it by hand into a ball on wax paper. The coating went on last. She'd roll it through chopped pecans or sometimes crushed beef jerky. That ball would sit on her crystal plate all Christmas Day, surrounded by Ritz crackers. Cost about $2.80 back in 1972, roughly $20 today. In 1975, 81% of holiday parties featured a cheese ball. Kraft sold 40% more cream cheese every December. Recipe exchanges between neighbors were constant. Debates raged over whether pecans or beef jerky made the better coating. Men especially loved this, coming back for seconds and thirds. That creamy center, sharp cheddar tang, crunchy coating. Today's hummus and modern dips can't match that centerpiece status or the pride of making your signature version. That ubiquitous cheese ball has rolled off the table completely.
Grandma would check the weather forecast first. If humidity was above 60%, no divinity that day. It would never set up. When conditions were perfect, she'd start. That sugar syrup boiling on the stove, candy thermometer clipped to the pot side. Meanwhile, egg whites whipping in her Sunbeam Mixmaster. that motor running 20 minutes straight, her arms steadying the bowl. When the syrup hit 260 degrees exactly, she'd pour it in a thin stream while the mixer ran. The whole mixture would turn from clear to opaque white, fluffy as clouds. Cost about $1.20 per batch back in 1958, roughly $12 today. In 1955, 58% of Southern households attempted this. Success rate was only 70% due to humidity issues, required relative humidity below 55%. Recipe failure was common, but success meant serious bragging rights. That snow-white fluffy texture, melt-in-mouth sweetness, pecan halves pressed on top. Mom would pull out that Jell-O pistachio instant pudding box. You remember that distinctive green powder hitting the bowl. Canned crushed pineapple, juice and all, Cool Whip straight from the freezer, miniature marshmallows. She'd fold it together with her rubber spatula, and the mixture would turn this bright, almost neon green color. Into the refrigerator in her glass bowl. By Christmas dinner, it was set and fluffy. Cost about $1.85 back in 1978, roughly $9 today. Created in 1975, featured in 67% of church cookbooks by 1980. Jell-O pistachio pudding sales tripled during the holidays. Kids absolutely loved that green shade. Looked like something from outer space. Ultra-easy recipe appealed to busy moms everywhere. The name alone sparked conversations at every potluck. That fluffy marshmallow texture, sweet pistachio flavor, crunchy pineapple bits throughout. Today's organic desserts can't match that unapologetic artificial brightness or the scandal-tinged name that made it memorable. That bright green conversation piece has disappeared completely.
Grandma would cream butter with her wooden spoon in that stoneware bowl. Had to be room temperature, not too cold or it wouldn't cream, not too warm or it would separate. Powdered sugar next, beating until fluffy and pale yellow. Then the brandy, added drop by drop while she stirred. She'd pack it into her porcelain sauce boat and refrigerate. When the plum pudding came out steaming, you'd put a dollop on your slice. It would melt into the hot pudding, creating this buttery, boozy sauce. Cost about 75 cents back in 1955, roughly $8.50 today. In 1945, 71% of households serving traditional pudding made this. Typical recipe: 1 stick Land O'Lakes butter, 2 cups sugar, 1/4 cup brandy. Recipe ratios were fiercely debated between families. That special serving dish came from the china cabinet. Adults only. Kids got whipped cream instead. Firm but meltable texture, sweet butter base with that brandy kick. Today's ready-made dessert toppings can't match that essential pairing with plum pudding or the ritual of making it from scratch. That brandy-spiked butter sauce has vanished completely.
Dad's Christmas specialty. He'd separate a dozen eggs, whites in one bowl, yolks in another. Beat those yolks with sugar until they were thick and lemon-colored, his arm getting tired. Beat the whites until stiff peaks formed. Fold them together gently, careful not to deflate the mixture. That batter would go into our special Tom and Jerry bowl, white ceramic with holly painted on it. When guests arrived, Dad would take a ladle of batter, add hot water and rum, stir until frothy. Serve in matching cups with nutmeg sprinkled on top. In 1950, 48% of holiday hosts served Tom and Jerry's. Ceramic Tom and Jerry sets sold 2.3 million annually through the 1950s. Men bonded over mixing techniques. Everyone had their own method. That thick, custard-like batter base, warm, eggy sweetness, frothy top, cinnamon and nutmeg spice. Christmas open house centerpiece. Today's ready-made dessert toppings can't match that elaborate hosting ritual or the pride of owning those special serving sets passed down through generations. That labor-intensive holiday drink has disappeared completely.
Aunt Margaret would make this when she wanted to impress. First the custard,
stirring constantly over low heat in her double boiler. Then the meringues. She'd heat milk in a wide skillet, just simmering. Shape egg white meringue with 2 spoons, drop them in gently. They'd puff up as they poached, 3 minutes per side. She'd lift them out with a slotted spoon, place them on the yellow custard like little white clouds floating in sky. Cost about 40 cents per serving back in 1958, roughly $4.20 today. It was featured in 34% of elegant dinner cookbooks in 1950. Julia Child brought it back briefly on TV in 1963. French heritage families especially treasured this, served in best crystal dessert bowls only. That soft, dissolving meringue texture against cool custard, delicate vanilla sweetness. Temperature precision was critical or the whole thing failed. Today's simple desserts can't match that sophisticated presentation or the culinary skill it required to pull off perfectly. That refined French tradition has disappeared completely. Christmas Eve, Mom would make the first layer, red Jell-O with cherries from the Del Monte fruit cocktail can. Pour it in that aluminum ring mold, refrigerate 2 hours until set. Then the second layer, lime Jell-O with pineapple chunks. Wait 2 more hours. Orange layer last with mandarin oranges. That refrigerator shelf was off limits all night. Christmas morning, she dipped the mold in hot water for 10 seconds, place the serving plate on top, and flip it. That moment when the mold released, pure magic. In 1960, Jell-O sold 300 million boxes annually, 40% during holidays. Aluminum ring molds sat in 92% of households between 1955 and 1975. Average mold required 8 to 10 hours total refrigeration time. You'd watch those translucent colored layers, red, green, orange, with fruit pieces suspended like jewels inside. That wobbly texture, but firm enough to slice. Today's quick desserts can't match that patient layer building or the family jokes about whether it would unmold successfully. That refined French tradition has disappeared completely.
Grandma would grind the pork Christmas Eve morning, that old metal grinder clamped to her kitchen table. That distinctive grinding sound for half an hour straight. 3 pounds of pork going through those blades. Onions, cloves, cinnamon would cook with the meat. The whole house smelled like a French-Canadian kitchen. She'd roll out 2 pie crusts with her heavy rolling pin on the floured board. That pie would bake while we were at midnight mass. We'd come home to that incredible smell filling the house. In 1950, 87% of French-Canadian families in New England made this. Served after church, the Réveillon meal tradition. Recipe passed down in French, never written in English. Specific spice blend was each family's guarded secret. That flaky, double-crushed pastry, savory ground pork filling, served warm with pickles or chutney. Today's frozen pot pies can't match that after-church ritual, or the way it connected us to our French-Canadian roots. That fragrant Christmas Eve tradition has nearly vanished completely. Mom would soak dried figs overnight in brandy. That sweet, boozy smell filling the kitchen by morning. Next day, she'd chop them fine with her curved chopping blade on the wooden board. Mix with flour, suet, breadcrumbs, eggs, spices. Pack the mixture into a greased pudding mold with a tight lid. Set up the steamer, a big pot with a rack inside. That pudding would steam for 6 hours Christmas morning. The whole house would fill with this incredible spiced fig aroma, dark and rich. In 1940, 29% of northeastern households served this British tradition. Sunmaid promoted fig pudding heavily in ads through the 1950s. Required 6 to 8 hours steaming time. You couldn't let the water boil dry. British heritage families maintained this longest, passing down those special pudding molds. That dark brown, almost mahogany color,
dense, moist texture, served with hard sauce melting on top. Today's quick desserts can't match that all-day commitment or the ceremonial flaming presentation that thrilled us every year. That patient steam tradition disappeared decades ago.
Christmas morning, after presents, if it had snowed overnight, Dad would grab that big yellow Tupperware bowl and head outside. He'd scoop only the top layer, the clean, fresh snow, bring it inside fast before it melted. Mom would pour in cream, vanilla, sugar. You'd stir it with a big spoon and watch that snow turn into magical ice cream right before your eyes. Texture between soft serve and shaved ice. Everyone got a bowl. You had to eat it immediately, melted in 15 minutes. In 1950, 64% of rural Midwest families made this spontaneous treat. Traditional ratio, 1 cup cream per 8 cups snow. Only possible in areas with consistent Christmas snowfall. Kids did most of the mixing. That outdoor-indoor connection felt absolutely magical. Pure white color, sweet vanilla cream flavor, clean, cold snow texture. Today's store-bought ice cream, available year-round, can't match that fleeting window of opportunity or the excitement of fresh snowfall making it possible. That spontaneous Christmas morning tradition has melted away completely.